Boker Tov, good morning. Shabbat Shalom. We're so glad that you've decided to tune in to Temple Micah's virtual services. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. So I want to begin with a question for everybody. What do you think it is that we're doing here today? In other words, why did you turn your computer or TV on this morning to stream this service? I'm sure that one answer for some of you is that you know our bat mitzvah, and that's a good answer. Welcome to all the friends and family tuning in from all over, everyone who knows the Oko family. But I'd also like to offer another answer for your consideration. We're here today to find a home for our souls. How often in these past weeks have you felt restless or have you felt unsettled? How many of you have felt stir crazy or scared or anxious? I think that prayer at its best is supposed to bring us a sense of groundedness. Prayer at its best is supposed to bring us a sense of love, a sense of comfort, warmth. In one word, I would say that's home. Prayer is a pathway home. And I know we're stuck at home, most of us sheltered in place for weeks now. But this doesn't necessarily mean that we're home, I'll say, spiritually home or really home. So in the next hour, we invite you to close the other tabs on your computer. Forget about your next Zoom appointment, Zoom party, Zoom watch party, whatever it is you have in your calendar. We invite you to sing with us, even if it feels strange. We invite you to clap, bang on a drum. I mean, as long as you're on mute, you can have your own private concert in your home along with us. Rock out. Engage with us from your home, and in doing so, we pray all of our souls will find a way to peace. Our souls will find a way to stillness, to love, to home. We'll begin with a moment for personal reflection.
Begin on page 1 of our digital Siddur, which you can find right here on our website. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani verov chastecha avo beitecha eshtachavel heichal kodeshecha v'yiratecha ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Adonai ahavti me'od
For the last several weeks on Shabbat morning, whenever we have sung this prayer, both separately and together, as we're each on mute, that is Ma Tovu, I've thought about how the second and third lines of the prayer, once we finish the Ma Tovu line, the second and third lines of the prayer were and still are a traditional way of seeing if there is a minion in the house. You know that in the Jewish custom is to not count people. So the second and third lines total make 10 words. And so insiders would know the first person, sitting, if it's sitting in a little shul, one person say Va'ani, then Barov, then Chastacha, Avo. And if you got all the way through Iyyar Atecha, hearing 10 different voices, you knew we can keep going. And I've thought about that. And because I'm sitting here and Louise is here, so we can get through Va'ani Barov, and then everybody else is on mute. And I wonder, well, can we get going? But then I see there are other faces there. And I think about how, in a sense, in a beautiful way, since we are a tradition of interpretation, that the technology has allowed us, in effect, to redefine what house is and how we've created a different kind of home by linking all of our computers together. So now that we know that we're all together safely and securely in a widely extended communal home, we now turn towards thinking about ourselves, Asher Yatzar, this beautiful prayer where we consider our interior life of both our bodies and our souls, as we know that we are securely enveloped as a community of people aspiring towards prayer.
I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I am perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. I thank you for my life,
Rabbi Zemmel, I've been also thinking about Matovu, but a different part. For me, in these weeks, the lines towards the end, the two words "V'ani tefilati" have come to have new meaning and significance for me. And I am my prayer. I am my own prayer, and I don't exactly know what it means, but I think that it might mean a little bit that our vessels, our bodies are sort of vessels for prayer, and that our acknowledgement of that is prayer in and of itself. And I think that's a little bit what the Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessings for daily miracles, are about, is that acknowledging that we ourselves are our own prayer. That every morning, in order to separate, to extend the distance from getting up, from first waking up to the very, very short commute that I have to my office, which is the couch, sometimes the study where I am now, that I've been using these daily blessings to extend that time where I normally would be getting up, getting ready to leave, to say, what does it look like if as soon as I turn off the last snooze, I say Moda Ani, I give gratitude for waking up. And then I very slowly open my eyes, remove the little crusts of sleep that are there, that I stretch, that I feel the earth under my feet when I stand up. And that little by little by little, I make myself into my prayer, and I make these daily miracles my commute. That I make that the path that allows me to wake up each day. And so in that way, we give thanks for arriving. We give thanks for waking up in a new day, for our eyes, which help us to see, which help us to even exist in this world, in this virtual world, for our ears, which do the same, for the gift of our minds, which allow us to even fathom this, and really for the gift of our bodies, which allow us to feel at home in our lives. And then we say thank you. We say Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol sorchi. Blessed are you, God, who in this moment has provided for all my needs. Amen.
At the bottom of page 1, a new text, preparing ourselves to thank you, to praise you, to glorify you. Hareini mezamen et pi, Hareini mezamen et pi, Hareini lehodot ulhalel ulshabeach et bori, lehodot ulhalel ulshabeach et bori. Hareini mezamen et pi, Hareini mezamen et pi, Hareini lehodot ulhalel ulshabeach et bori, lehodot ulhalel ulshabeach et bori. access some of that preparation at the top of page 2. Hallelujah, 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 El Bekocho, hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, hallelujah, Big Burata, hallelujah, Kerol Uno, hallelujah, 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 take a shofar, hallelujah, benedel lechinor, hallelujah, tov umacho, hallelujah, minim mehugav, hallelujah, 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 B'tziel Tzilei Shama, hallelujah, B'tziel Tzilei Trua, Kohan Shamate, hallelujah, Kohan Shamate, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
All right. That felt nice. I wonder if we're all clapping together. But even if we weren't, it doesn't matter. And I do hope you're actually trying to clap at home. It's kind of we can all laugh at this together and smile. I pulled off of my shelf this week a really good book of poetry, the poetry of Psalms. This is a selection from 147. Haluhu shemesh ve'yareach, haluhu kol koch ve'or. Praise the eternal mystery, sun and moon. Praise God, all bright stars. For it was God who commanded that they be created. God made them endure forever, establishing an order that shall never change. Praise God, O you who are on earth, all sea monsters and ocean depths. Eish uvarad, shelach v'kitor, fire and hail, snow and smoke, storm wind, all mountains and hills, all fruit trees and cedars, all wild and tamed beasts, creeping things and winged birds. Hodo al eretz v'shamayim. God's splendor covers heaven and earth. And we can say together, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Please join me in the middle of page 2. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
As many of you have heard me say before, two of my favorite words in the prayer book, the prayer book we usually use, come at this point in the service. Prayer invites. I think prayer is the daily, the thrice daily, certainly the Shabbat weekly. Prayer is the invitation that is given to us in our tradition on an ongoing, recurring basis to consider the deepest part of our interior souls and the greatest expanse of the width of the universe itself. At this time, at this moment, when we are each in our own homes during this pandemic, I view prayer as an opportunity to take stock of who we are, this huge pause that has been put on our lives, and also to be ever cognizant of the mounting responsibilities that we have that are outside the walls of our homes. We who are lucky enough to feel safe and secure in these homes have an ever-growing list of invitations of the world that is out there that so needs our energy, our hearts, our passion, our dedication, and our strength. So as we enter this period of prayer, dig deep within and seek to renew your effort and your commitment to look far, far, far beyond the windows that we're all looking at in the rooms we're in right now, and remember all those who are so looking to us to be their responders. We enter now this moment of prayer.
Shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael
When Torah was given at Sinai, it went out from all directions. And today we imagine that as Torah is given, that it goes out from all directions, from Sinai into all of our homes. I'm told that we've got people that are bringing Torah into their homes in Charlotte, in Brighton, Massachusetts, in Needham and London, in Washington, D.C., all over the country and all over the world. And so today, Laila, we bring Torah from Sinai into your home, and you will take this Torah as it was carried on each shoulder of each generation. Now we give it to you so that it will be carried by you. Wherever we've gone, we have brought these words, these scrolls, and in every hard moment, we have turned and turned it so that its words would bring us wisdom and guidance, strength and comfort. And today, we pass this Torah to you. And so I invite you all, the Oko family, to please rise so that each of you may pass the Torah to Laila. So you'll get in your family order. And then when you're ready, as it was passed to you, Jen, and you, Michael, in your living room, in Laila's living room, we pass it to her.
Ledor vador nagid golecha, Ledor vador nagid golecha, Ulenetzach netzachim krushacha nakdish.
Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad.
Beautiful. So you can undress the Torah now.
Yeah, all right.
Great. And get your Torah ready. So Okos, you can be seated.
Okay, where to begin? I've heard that preparing for bat mitzvah is challenging, but I had no idea what I was in for. After all, my Torah portion, Tazria, is largely about skin diseases and infections and how to make things that are impure pure. Things like menstruation, childbirth, circumcision, and leprosy. Awkward stuff, right? Just to be clear, impure doesn't mean dirty. It means that there is a ritual required so you would be fit for religious tasks and services. In Tazria, it says that a woman is impure around the time she gives birth or is on her period. To become pure, she would have to do things like isolate herself, bathe in a mikvah, a ritual bath, and bring offerings to the holy temple. When a woman has a girl, she's considered more impure than when she has a boy. However, the Torah says boys have to get circumcised 8 days after they are born, or else they are considered impure. Sorry, guys. So here's the thing. I was told I needed to find a way to relate things like this to myself and teach my community something. I had no clue how I was going to do that. Then came COVID-19, and now people are getting quarantined, making Tazria completely relevant for two main reasons. First, in Tazria, a lot of the time when a person is impure, they have to be quarantined, like with COVID-19. Second, COVID-19 relates to Tazria because we don't fully understand it and don't know the cure. Tazria is all about creating ways for people to be as pure and healthy as possible from a time when there were a lot of new, unknown diseases that no one understood. When people don't understand something, they can get scared and start looking for someone or something to blame. When COVID-19 first became a big issue, some people started targeting Asian people and businesses. I've heard many stories about people not going to or ordering from Asian restaurants, and even kids being yelled at or shunned, and sometimes even worse. This is wrong, but unfortunately, this is something we have seen many times throughout the course of history. It is easier to blame and target people when they are different from you. It's not exactly the same, but in our own Jewish history, we saw this during the Holocaust. Nazis dehumanized Jewish people to make it easier for non-Jews to blame them for the problems in the world. This is where Tazria starts to teach us something that can help us today. In Tazria, one of the roles of the priest was to make sure that a sick person suffering from diseases like leprosy and other impurities wasn't shunned either while they were sick or when they came back to the community. One of my rabbis, Rabbi Crawley, recently taught me about an idea from the Torah. It says that the Jewish people should strive to be a mamlechet kohanim, a nation of priests. The first thing to understand is that the priests were not just offering medical care. They had to address the spiritual needs of everyone in the community. That is something each of us can do. We can reach out to each other and make sure we can maintain a community that is not spiritually isolated. For example, you could talk or video chat with your outside family and friends. You can keep the Micah community strong by participating in the Zoom services, especially the Mitzvah services. And you could be like the people in New York and Italy who are singing with their neighbors. Anything that keeps us all connected. For my Bat Mitzvah project, I found a nonprofit organization called Days for Girls that normally makes and distributes menstrual pads to girls in developing countries who can't normally access them. Because of COVID-19, they are now also asking people to make and distribute fabric face masks as part of their Masks for Million campaign. I decided to learn how to sew and make the masks for people who need them and contribute to the cause. It is very important to me that Micah is still doing B'nai Mitzvahs throughout this crisis. First, I've been working really hard for this day, and it would be really upsetting if I wasn't able to do it anymore. Second, I've been watching other services, and it's just made me so happy to be a part of this community. And third, everyone here is continuing a tradition that has been going on for centuries. I am so glad to be a part of this community. I'm so grateful for everyone who showed up to support me today, wherever you are. I would just like to thank my trope tutor, Rebecca DeSantis, for helping me learn my Parsha and Haftarah, Rabbi Miller for helping me figure out my Darash, Rabbi Crawley for helping us get through this and for teaching me so much, and most importantly, my amazing parents and my funny and occasionally supportive brother Jasper for all of their love and encouragement. Thank you.
Yashar Koach, thank you for bringing some inspiration and some meaning in what is a very tough Torah portion, which you will now share with us those words. So I'll invite you to open the scroll, find your place in it, and we'll invite our first Aliyah, our community member, Manya Magnus, to lead us in the Aliyah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor. Daber El Bnei Yisrael Lemor. Isha Ki Tazria Vayalda Zahar Betama Shivat Yamim. Hime Nidat Dota Titma. Ubayom Hashmini Yimol Basar Orlato. Ushloshim Yom Ushloshet Yamim Teshev Bidmei Torah V'chol Kodesh Lo Tiga V'el Hamikdash Lo Tavo Ad Melot Yemei Torah V'el Hamikdash Lo Tavo V'im Nekeva Teled V'timei Shavuayim Kenidata V'shishim yom v'sheshet yamim teshev al damei Torah.
Beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you, Manya. For our next Aliyah, we invite to our virtual Bima, Sue and Arnold Cohen, more lovingly referred to as Nana and Papa.
Okay, ready? Baruch Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher baka banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Uvimlot yemei Torah. Levan, oh, levat, tavi'i, keves, ben shnatel le'olav, uven yona, oh, tor, lechatat, el petach, oh, hamoed, el hakohen, v'hikriva, oh, lifnei, Adonai, l'chiper, aleha, v'tahara, mimchor, dameha, zot, torat, hayoledet, Lazachar olam keva, v'im lo timsa yada de se v'lacha shetitorim. Oh, shenei b'nei Yona, echad le'la v'echad l'chatat, v'chiper aleha hakohen v'tahera.
That's us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For Aliyah number 3, we call to the screen Ben, Oko, and Helen Demos, Grandpops and Granny Helen.
I'm here.
You're here. Go ahead.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor. Adam ki yesh v'yisro she'et oseh pachat o b'heret v'hayav or b'saro l'negat zarat v'huva el Aharon hakohen. O el echad mibanav hakohenim Ra'ah hakohen et hanega v'or habasar v'se'ar b'nega hafach levan v'merei hanega amot me'or v'saro nega tzarat hi v'rahu hakohen v'timei oto.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natu b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Aliyah number 4 is the folks who are in the room with Laila. So we invite Jasper and Jennifer and Michael to lead us in the blessing for the fourth Aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'im baheret levana hi baruch Be'or b'saro v'amok emar eha min ha'or v'se'ar lo hafach levan v'hiskir hakohen et hanega shivat yamim bara'ahu hakohen bayam hashvi'i v'hinei hanega amad be'enav lo faso hanega ba'or v'hiskiro hakohen shivat yamim sheni.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So Laila, this last Aliyah, this final Aliyah is all yours. We call you up to the Torah. Ta'amod, ta'amod, ta'amod. Habahura, habad mitzvah. Laila Amalia, bat Devora v'Michael, Aliyah chamisha, chizki, chizki.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Bra'ah hakohen oto bayam hashvi'i shenit v'hinei keha hanega v'lo fasah hanega ba'or v'tiharo hakohen mispachat hi v'hibes bagadav v'tiharo v'im paso tivseh chamispachat ba'or Acharei haroto el hakohen metohorato v'nira shenit el hakohen v'ra'ah hakohen v'hinei pasta chamispachat ba'or v'timo hakohen tzara'at hi. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. So we offer you now in this moment the blessing of strength from our ancestors. Misha berach avotenu v'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yevarech et Laila Amalia bat Devora v'Michael v'shehigia lemitzvot v'alta ulikvod hamakom ulikvod haTorah. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing to you, Laila, for you have reached the age of responsibility and were called to Torah for the first time. We celebrate the incredible dedication and grace that you brought to this sacred moment today. May God watch over you. May your parents continue to raise you to full adulthood, leading you to a life filled with blessing, of more Torah, of Jewish learning, of chuppah, the joy of a loving relationship, and always, always ma'asim tovim, good deeds. May you find favor before God, the entire Jewish community, and the entire world, to which we say together, Amen. You guys can now redress and re-roll the Torah, and Laila, you can get ready for your Haftarah.
Eitz chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tochea meushar derachea darchei noam v'chol netivotea shalom hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
So Laila's going to be reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, a special haftarah for this Rosh Chodesh Iyyar, and you can see the words if you download on our website. See the words that she's reading, and I just want to say what I think is really striking about Isaiah's words is that he's imagining or is in relationship with a God who is deeply feeling feelings, a God who feels lost, a God who is looking at the world and seeing despair, but a God who desperately wants to be with us. And I think for me, this idea of a God with pathos, a God that feels, is particularly striking in this moment where there's a lot of kind of isolation and loneliness, that we're not alone in feeling these feelings. So Laila, if you'll lead us in the Haftarah blessings and in your Haftarah. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'vim tovim v'ratzav b'divreihem hane'amarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai halocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nbiei ha'emet Tzedek. Ko Amar Adonai Hashemayim Kisi v'ha'aretz Hadom Bagala Ezeh Bayit Asher Tibnu Li Ve'ezeh Makom Menuchati Ve'et Kol Elev Yadi Ashata V'yehu Kol Elev Adonai Ezeb Bit Ash El Ani Unkeruach V'chared Adabari Shulchet Hasor Makeish Zoveach Haseh Orev Kelev Maleh Mincha Dam Chazir Mazhir Levana Mavarev Aben Gamhema Baruch B'dargehem Ufikuzehem Nafsham Hafezach Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'olamim tzaddik b'chol habarot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'yotzeh ha'medaber u'mikayeh shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al hanvi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shetata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'kedusha v'limnucha L'chavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim la v'mbrachim ota yivrach shimha v'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. Siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel
Mazel tov, mazel tov. We are getting wishes and mazel tovs from all over the country, from the Rosen-Stokes family. They're sending their love. Uncle Dano, Justine, Betsy, Ewok, and Karen, and Zaps, the Florence family, and the Hawkins family, and Renana, and Rebecca, and Steve. I'm also seeing some people who are watching from New York and complimenting you on your cool kindness and generosity. Some love from the Polancos and Nani and Poppy and the Mendelsons and Gottliebs. So many more. Yael Katzman, the rest of the Cohens, the Fleckner cousins, everybody's sending their love. So with the tears, with the feelings of love that are coming from every direction, I invite all of you Okos to join us. Oh, I just saw one coming in. Rebecca DeSantis, your tutor, you did an amazing job. So she's watching. Lots of people sending love. And we take all that love and allow it to envelop all of us and you as we offer you this blessing. Barechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you safe. May God's face, God's light shine upon you and grant you the gift of grace. And may God lift God's face up to you and give you the greatest gift, the gift of wholeness and of peace. Amen. You guys can all take a seat and relax a little bit as we get ready to teach a little bit. So Laila, dear Laila, today you joined several legacies. One, which you mentioned, is thousands of years old, where emerging 13-year-old boys and now joining them girls read from and teach Torah. And the second legacy you're joining today is a shorter legacy, but also a wonderful one. For almost 37 years, Bar and Bat Mitzvah students at Temple Micah have posed a question to their rabbi, and on the day of their service have received an answer in response. And now the next evolution of that ritual, instead of one response, you'll get 3. So I'll begin. Laila, you asked me, how should we respond to Torah being more fair to men than it is to women? First, Laila, your question requires that we must acknowledge that it is. It is more fair to men than it is to women in many ways. Your own Torah portion included a few of those examples which you discussed. Girls make their mother more impure than boys do when they're born. And even more unfairly, more unjust, is that something that is totally natural to a woman's body makes her impure monthly. But there's an even larger injustice, indiscretion, I think. And that's that Torah lacks women's voices. Who are the women of Torah? What do they say? What did they think? If we are told Torah is supposed to be a mirror for your life, it's heartbreaking to ask, but we have to ask, what does it mean that you, as a young woman, when you look in that mirror of Torah, that you don't see yourself reflected back? Where women should be fully realized figures, they are instead frequently unnamed, presented without their voices, or named only in relationship to their husband or their father or their brother. They exist as sort of shadowy figures. The feminist scholar Judith Plaska wrote in her seminal Standing Again at Sinai, women's voices and experiences are largely invisible in the record of Jewish belief and experience that has come down to us. Women have lived in Jewish history, have carried its burdens, but women's perceptions and question have not given form to scripture. Then she asks a question which I find heartbreaking. What can we claim that has not also wounded us? What can we claim that has not also wounded us? is Plaskow's way of asking your question, I think, Laila. And I have to admit, as a bat mitzvah, you have an extra challenge. You have to take on, you have to claim what has the potential to hurt. We handed this Torah down to you today, knowing full well that the task is harder for you. Because, Laila, I think your task as an emergent woman is to both claim your tradition and reclaim it. What do I mean by this? First, claiming it means that just because it has inequality in it doesn't mean that it's not yours and that it's not beautiful, that it doesn't have beauty in it, and that you shouldn't work to seek meaning and profundity in its poetries, its teachings of ethics, its stories, and its persistent evading truths. As for me, I choose to spend not much time trying to explain my lack of presence in the text, trying to explain it away, which I fear would lack a certain nuance or could even teeter on apologetics. So yes, Torah is a reflection of its times, and certainly in the ancient Near East, things were different. And there is evidence of a much more significant female presence in the text that was edited out later by male scribes. And these sorts of scientific approaches might help, Laila. They might help you. But for me, answering the why we're not there doesn't make me feel any better. It doesn't help me in the way that you ask your question. Deal with it. What does make me feel better is reclaiming, reforming, and reasserting what is there. So one response I have for you, and then I'm really excited to hear my colleagues' thoughts on this as well, is to work to start to remove women from the shadows and the margins. So I have chosen to become a silence filler. Anywhere there's a shadowy figure, I try to shine a light on them. I listen for whispers, and then I repeat them louder. There are so many ways to do this, but I think it's about imagination. I think it is about thinking about who you are as a woman and trying to imagine how that would fill in the gaps that are existent in the texts. I'm thinking of Torah in this way as different pieces of the quilt, but instead of being sewn all together, the different patches of the quilt come in a large stack. And what you do now, Laila, is that you sew them together in whatever way works for you, and you fill in those gaps yourself. You take the squares, you take what's there, you ask questions, you inquire, you point out the injustices, you don't just sweep them under the rug, you don't apologize for them, but you imagine. You imagine what could have been done, what would have been said. And then you create what is a Torah that exists side by side the Torah that you were handed today, a Torah that is fuller, that is emotive, that is beautiful, and above all else, a Torah, Laila, that is a reflection of you back in it. And that is the task that I undertake, the task that you undertake, and the task that I hope is not a task that just women undertake, but that all of us as egalitarian Jews in this generation are undertaking. So with that, I'll pass the mic over to Rabbi Baraha, or rather the unmute button.
Is it working? Hi, Oko family. Laila, first of all, Mazel Tov. This morning's been wonderful. You should feel very proud of your accomplishments. You prepared a Devar Torah, you learned to read and chant Torah and Haftarah, and most of all, you adapted to the current circumstances, and you did it all with a smile. So I just want to begin by saying Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. Next, I brought some show and tell. I hope you've seen these new-ish, greenish, they're green. I don't know if it reflects in the light I have here, but I hope you've seen these new greenish, green books we keep in our sanctuary. This is the Torah, a woman's commentary, which consists entirely of female commentators. This volume is in response, of course, to every other Torah commentary produced in the last 2,000 years, that although it doesn't say it on the cover, could all aptly be called the Torah, a men's commentary, because For most of human history, it was men who studied Torah and men who wrote commentary. Today, of course, we live in a different age. History is no longer his story. And so the question is, how are we to respond? I have 3 thoughts. 1, we always have to begin with the acknowledgement that throughout human history, women's voices haven't always been as prevalent as men's. As Rabbi Crawley said, maybe they've been whispers. And this is true especially in regards to religion. 2, a way to respond, Laila, is to keep studying. We need more Jewish women educated in Torah and more Jewish women educated in Torah who will add their voices to the Jewish conversation. Just think about how 100 years ago, there was no such thing as a bat mitzvah. There was no such thing as a brit bat, the equivalent to a bris in some ways. There was no women's Rosh Chodesh groups. There was no Lilith magazine. There were no commentators like Devorah Adler, Tamar Ashkenazi, Andrea Weiss. And our window into Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah were the insights exclusively of men. The likes of Miriam, Deborah, Ruth, Esther, Hannah, Yael, and so many more were known, of course, but they weren't raised up, celebrated, and commented on by women. And so I say to you this morning, keep studying. Uncover and raise up voices from the past, for when you do, Laila, you can give them new life. And finally, 3, how do we respond? Recognize that the Jewish story is lived in the present. We take inspiration and direction from the Jewish past, surely, but the Jewish future is bright, if not brighter, than where we've been. And so, to borrow a line from Paul Johnson's History of the Jews, just as the lungs of Israel and Egypt craved for a fiercer oxygen of truth, a way of life which was pure, freer, more responsible, end quote, we too still crave that fiercer oxygen of truth. In one sentence, this is our mission. And this morning, Laila, you brought us all a step closer. So Mazel Tov, and I hope we get to hang out this summer on Cape Cod.
Laila, I want to add my words of Mazel Tov to my colleagues. This has been a great, great morning. And for the last several weeks, when it's been someone else's student, I've batted third in this lineup. And this week I find it particularly intimidating to bat third because the comments of my 2 young colleagues have been so wise. Anything I will say will be just trying to pick up some crumbs, so to speak. You hit on a very, very bold question. And I want to say, Laila, yes, our ancient inherited past as embodied in the Torah is a male-biased Judaism where women are largely absent. Our medieval Jewish tradition is a male-biased tradition, and women's voices are largely, almost exclusively absent. And in many, far too many places yet today in so-called modern Judaism, the Judaism is a male-biased Judaism, and women's presence is, I could say, absent in a way that one could almost say is scandalous. We should state that clearly. We should not be embarrassed by it. We should not shuffle our feet and look down. We should proclaim it, in fact. Biblical ethics are not our ethics. Biblical ethics are not my ethics. I do not believe in wife purchase. I do not believe in stoning a rebellious child. I do not believe in capital punishment. I do not believe that an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is the means to achieve justice. So when I think about all of that, I also think about the miracle of the inheritance that we have all been given. Because when I've thought about that, I thought about that for a long time this morning. Our tradition could very well be a one-book inheritance. Our Judaism could be one book, the Torah or the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. Now, I happen to be sitting in my family room, but if you look behind Rabbi Crawley or behind Rabbi Braha, there are many books on their shelves. Our offices that are filled with books, because the Jewish tradition is a tradition of commentary. So Rabbinic Judaism did not fully agree with the ethics of the Bible either, but they could not state it as explicitly as we do. But they made capital punishment all but illegal. They instituted the ketubah because they also didn't believe in wife purchase, okay? So you can see kind of, even through our history, an evolving approach to ethics that unfolded certainly too slowly from the point of view of a contemporary feminist. Yes, changes have been made, and we can be extremely proud, I think, that American Reform Judaism today works to be a fully inclusive and feminist Judaism. And here I say works to be, because ethics, I think, always have to be a work in progress, because it is hard to recognize discriminations that are so inherent as to be impossible to recognize. That is why we always have to listen closely to outside voices of critique. We have to listen so closely to hear those voices of critique, because things can be invisible to us. We have to listen closely for what others are saying. I want to make one more point about the literature that guides us. I love the Bible. And even though biblical ethics are not my ethics, the Jewish narrative is the narrative in which I live my life. And I like the idea, I like the metaphor of narrative, because a narrative is something we can all add a chapter to. Just as was pointed out a few minutes ago by my wise colleagues, both of them, this morning, you added a chapter to the Jewish narrative. Now, I want to point out one more thing about the narrative that you added a chapter to. It is anything but a conservative narrative. It is an audacious and radical narrative. And I thought of that this morning, early this morning, when I took a walk with Louise, and Louise commented to me how great it is that we have Shabbat, because we have a way to measure time. We're living in a period now where we're all in our homes, people's schedules have been disrupted, and there are even kind of jokes going around on the internet as no one knows what day it is. We know what day it is because it's Shabbat. Now I want to say something. Shabbat is radical, because Shabbat is one of our tradition's very, very, very first radical jumps at imposing humanity on nature. And I say this all the time, the year is guided by nature. The earth goes around the sun. The month is guided by nature. It's the phase of the moon. Seasons are, of course, guided by nature. The 7-day week is not found in nature. The 24-hour day is found in nature. Okay, the sun rises and the sun sets. The 7-day week, we imposed ourselves on nature. And the feminist voice is the voice that is imposing itself on our inherited literature. And in doing that, you are standing shoulder to shoulder with the people that first conceived our tradition. We are audacious. You and your generation continue to kick that door in. But in kicking that door in, you are adding a strong, strong next chapter, many chapters to our inherited narrative. And in doing that, You are standing totally in line with that which you are inheriting. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Continue to do great things. Become a teacher in Israel, just as you were this morning. Shabbat shalom.
I'm finding myself so full in hearing all of these responses, and I think one of the ways I spoke last night a little bit about like how to keep yourself in the world, how to keep yourself from pulling out of the world, and I think that what you're hearing are not only tips for approaching a tradition that includes within it a great amount of injustice towards women, but you're hearing and how to deal with that, but you're also hearing answers about how to put yourself back into the world and how to make sure that that's always what you're thinking about. Raising up voices through study, breathing new oxygen, new air into our tradition, making ethics for this moment, using your imagination to imagine a new world into being. And I think also that just because someone might be invisible or someone might be voiceless doesn't mean that they aren't there and that they don't deserve to be heard. And I think all of our answers today highlighted that. And Laila, your sacred task is to make sure that you're building that ethics and that you're shining that light on those people and that you're continuing to do this work. So much love is coming in from us, from all of the people who are watching. I hope you feel proud of everything that you've done today. And I will just extend my gratitude for you being our teacher this morning and for being a beacon of hope for all of us as we continue to imagine what this world is and what it can be. So thank you. So with that aside, we'll take a breath and move into a prayer for healing. And today is Rosh Chodesh. We've reached the new month of Iyyar, and there's some teaching about where that name Iyyar comes from. I say that it's actually an acronym for Ani Adonai Rofecha. I am God, your healer. And so as we enter this month of Iyyar, let us imagine that this is a month of healing, a month where God is our healer, where our doctors are our healers, a month where us and our world reaches a greater sense of healing. We ask that God is with all of us, all those who are laboring in the midst of this, all those who are in need of shelter, all those who are working in or being healed in labs and clinics and hospitals and pharmacies. We ask that all those who are in need of peace, whether of mind or body, are brought that peace. We ask for companionship. We ask for love. We ask for healing, divine and human healing, so that this may be a month of healing. Our community is sending their healing blessing to Maya Jane Adaki, David Adler, Emily Alpern Fish, Frank Anderson, Evie Beck, Ronnie Behar, Etta Braverman, Philip Braverman, Shelley Brunner, Gideon Colliver, Rafi Elijah, Nathaniel Felber, Cello Fournier, Bernie Goldblatt, Samantha Goldsmith, Carol Greenberg, Edward Greenberg, Phil Greenberg, John Hall, Bob Kitroser, Dorothy Kirby, Philip Levine, Sam Levinson, Deborah Furry Magee, Avital Manor, David Merrill, Doug Meyer, Goldie Nussbaum, Jenny Pawlowski, Ellie Pearl, David Ransahoff, Lois Rosen, Eric Rosenberg, Sarah Rosenberg, Barry Rubens, Sam Salick, Joan Schwartz, Mary Schwartz, Ian Sandell, Gerald Sandell, George Scott, Brian Skornick, Lillian Sugarman, Betty Uston, Lydia Vanderloo, Larry Weiner, Jonathan Winter, and Bill Witt. And of course, we think especially of all of those who are suffering from this terrible virus, and we send them our healing blessing.
Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our days. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace from all our pain. Restore our strength of body. Help clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirits. Rejuvenate our light.
It was in Tel Aviv on the 5th of Iyyar, 5708, that David Ben-Gurion spoke these words. The land of Israel was the birthplace of the Jewish people. Here their spiritual, religious, and political identity was shaped. Here they first attained to statehood, created cultural values of natural and universal significance, and gave to the world the eternal book of books. After being forcibly expelled from their land, the people kept faith with it throughout their dispersion and never ceased to pray and hope for their return to it and for the restoration in it of their political freedom. The rest is a beautiful history that I hope you will one day read, Laila, and that everyone else watching will as well. And whenever you find yourselves in Tel Aviv, you can make your way to Independence Hall. Maybe you already did on your last trip. I know Rabbi Zemel has a picture of this moment hanging up in his office. You can listen and just read about that moment in history. It will bring you the chills because it truly was one of the defining moments, turning points in the history of our people. And as I read this prayer for the state of Israel, I'm thinking about Ben-Gurion standing up there in front of his people and speaking those words. Avinu Shabashamayim Tzur Yisrael v'Goalo Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Tzmichat Gulatenu Hagen Aleha Barvat Chastecha Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha Ushlach Orcha V'Amitecha L'Rosheha Sareha V'Yoatzeha V'Tachnein Beitzah Tova Milfanecha V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz V'Simchat Olam Liyoshveha V'Nomar Amen. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israeli Independence Day, is this week, and our hearts and our souls are with the people of Israel and thinking about them as they celebrate their independence. We can say it together. Amen.
Amen. Amen. As we turn to the concluding portion of our service, we bring to mind all those around the globe who have lost their lives to this coronavirus. And we think of them, we think of their families who mourn for them, and we as a Temple Micah community mourn with their families for all those lives that have been lost. We take them into our hearts each day when we turn on the news and we see the little chart that's on the side of the news channel, and it's a number, and the number of Americans has gone past 50,000. The number of people around the world has gone past 200,000. But we should remember that we do not think of them as numbers. Each one of them is a world unto themselves, and we have to each week remember that our hearts have to become a little bit bigger each week to bring them all into this moment. In our own community, we remember those lost to violence in Washington, D.C., and we see these names on our computer screens. Our custom at Micah is we read the names of those lost to violence. These first few names, we read them aloud together. So I invite you to join with me, each in your own homes, to read these names. Andy Bonilla, age 19 of Northwest DC. Chantal Hill, age 28 of Northwest DC. Eugene Isaac Jr., no fixed address. And Toussaint Strong, age 28 of Clinton, Maryland, who was killed by violence in our own city. And we remember also that we're in a period of Shiva for David Melendi, the husband of Lorna Melendi. We're in a period of Shloshim for David J. Erlanger, the father of Wendy Erlanger and the grandfather of Ethan Porter. We're in a period of Shloshim for Shirley Katz, the grandmother of Dan Bahar, for Jake McDonald, the nephew of Laura Ferguson, for May Schulman Savage, the aunt of Stan Schulman, for David Schuler, the brother of Michael Schuler and uncle of Sarah Schuler, for Alice Scholler, the grandmother of Noah Westreich, and for Donna Walker, the aunt of Matthew Hoffman. On this Shabbat, we observe Yahrzeit for Ruth Sonnenblick Appleton, Herbert Barchoff, Mitch Bernstein, Milton Booth, Leon Shideho, Pat Cohen, Patricia Cohen, Betty Galula Cooper, Morris Enda, Leon David Friedman, Harriet Goldman, Beverly Grusin, Esther Hoffer, Ida Russakoff-Hoos, Dina L. Kaplan, Ralph Kartzman, Julia Kurtzer, Arthur Lieberstein, David Metch, Esperanza Pasco, Leonard Rosenstein, Jane Ryan, Lydia Sablasky, Thomas Sablasky, Erwin Satin, Susan Shermer, Erwin Shoemaker, Hyman Scholar, Lonnie Tama, Joseph Wagenheim, Ted Wagman, Ann Wiener, and Eleanor Wienick. We rise to say Kaddish, remembering as we do those who have known to say Kaddish for them. We join together. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shmei Rabbah, Biomad, Divrach, Yutei, V'yamlich, Malchutei, B'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chaye, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Vizman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Mevorach, Le'olam, Omei, Omaya. Barach, Vishtabach, Vitpoar, Vitromam, Vitnase, Vithadar, Vithale, Vithalal, Shemeda Kudesha, Brechu, Laila min Kol Berchata, Veshirata, Tushbachata, Venechamata, Damiran Bioma Vimru, Amen. Yeshlomo Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'alkol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'alkol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the highest of heavens grant peace to all those who mourn and grant comfort to all those who are bereaved among us, among Israel, and all of the world. We say, Amen. And we can be seated, and I'll simply say, Deborah, bring us home.
We close with those words from the end of the prayer that we just mentioned, Kaddish Yatom, and we invite all of Laila's B'nai Mitzvah classmates to be singing just as loudly from their own home so that maybe we might hear you from ours as we join together in Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu.
Shabbat shalom and mazel tov.
Shalom.